birds chirping, sun is shining for the first time in about a week. We've had this kind of omnipresent heavy mist it was just on the threshold between mist and rain, you know, when you get that transition. So everything has been constantly, perpetually wet and damp and miserable. But this is, as I say, the first time the sun has actually been shining, as you can see. There it is here, look, on my hand. And I just thought I'd come out to the cave and make a video, because I'm not going to get the opportunity to have this door open during the day much longer, as the days grow shorter, they get colder. But anyway, the Revell Corsair that I reviewed a few videos back is done. Took me a while to get it the way it is at the moment, and when I say at the moment, it's not going to change from the way it is there. But that's about the third. It was the weathering. I just couldn't get the weathering right. I was a little heavy-handed the first time. The second time it just looked bland, and the third time it just didn't look right. There was just something about it that didn't look right. And each time that I've removed the weathering using thinners and whatnot, each attempt has left its mark, as it were. So the cumulative effect of those 3 attempts has actually produced an effect similar to kind of what I was looking for in the first place. A happy accident again, I suppose. I mean, it's still not exactly the way I saw it in my mind's eye, but they never are. Models never are. You always, when you open the box, you have this picture of what you're aiming for, and in my case, I generally fall far short of that image, which is what strives us to do better next time, isn't it? But anyway, it's done. Not much I can say about it in terms of one of the problems with the weathering that I was applying to it was I was losing the blueness of the navy blue, which is a dull blue anyway. I mean, it's not very vibrant to start with, and because I tend to use like the MIG, the dark wash, and the MIG pigments, as well as the UMP decanted washes as powders, it was just disappearing under this layer of filtering. And as I said, the last attempt at actually removing the weathering, which pushes it into nice, you know, little nooks and crannies and whatnot, has kind of given me the blueness back, especially the intermediate blue, which can often be just completely obliterated, like it was on that little wildcat that I did. But built entirely out of box, including, which is a first for me, the seat harnesses. I used the decals that Revell supply, rather than using and sourcing my own photo etch or scratch building them. It was always my intention to have the canopy closed on this one anyway. And again, at 1/72, there's usually always a little bit of distortion lensing from the canopy. And it's a reasonably thick one as well, and to that extent that I think I've gotten away with it. If you look in there, you will see that there's a harness on the seat. If you look really closely, you will see it's a decal. It's very two-dimensional. But you know what? For a £6.50 kit, that's no excuse to lower your standards. Not that that is lowering your standards. It's just that it's not what I normally do. Although in saying that, I did go to the trouble of the navigation lights on the Corsair are clear covers with, or clear lenses with coloured bulbs. I have a book here, and I obtained this book because I've got the Tamiya 1/48 birdcage Corsair with every aftermarket set that was and is available for it when I used to do that sort of thing. And this is obviously a very comprehensive and informative book, lots of pretty pictures of Corsairs, and it showed me that the wingtip lights weren't coloured lenses. So I achieved this by doing the usual thing where you cut a little bit of clear sprue and you stick it in the corner. But first now these actually, this is probably one of the best things you could buy for your toolkit. It's the little micro drills, but these are the wide shank ones, the 2.35mm wide shank. You know, if I could bring it close to the camera, you'll get to see, providing the camera decides to focus at some stage. The shank is 2.35mm in diameter. Now, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, if you're using a very, very fine drill, a 0.3mm drill in a pin vise, the weight of the pin vise and the action of your fingers turning it puts a lot of lateral stress on the shank of the drill, and I don't know how many have snapped as a result of that. But these ones, you can actually, because of the thickness of the shank, I've never had one of these in a pin vise yet. I just hold it with my hand and twist it. So you can determine the exact amount of pressure that you're applying to the drill, and these are very, very sharp, so they penetrate very, very quickly. And as I say, you don't have to turn it fully, you know, round and round and round and round. I just twist it back and forward, and as it returns, it gets the swarf out, the plastic swarf out, and you, as I say, you get so much more control over it. So highly recommend these. I don't think I ever use my pin vise now anyway. I mean, I've got the other micro drills, but I always opt for these where possible. Yeah, so what I do is with the clear sprue, just use one of these, put a little, drill a wee hole in the back of it, fill that little hole with either red or green paint, tidy it up a little bit, and hey presto, you have a colour bulb inside a clear lens. I don't know how that would work on maybe one of the larger scales, but at 1/72 it is very passable as a colour bulb inside a clear lens. So yeah, there we go. Not much more I can say about it. Oh, actually, yes, there is. I would be lying if I said that I wasn't slightly, and I do mean slightly, disappointed with the kit. Now, we do have to keep remembering, you know, take into consideration the fact that it was a very inexpensive kit. £6.50 for a new tool kit. You cannot complain of that at all. That is getting into the realms of pocket money purchases. But I was a little bit disappointed by the definition of some of the parts. There was no flash, but they did almost resemble the look of short run kits, especially the surrounds of the wheel well, which are quite intricate ones on the Corsair anyway. They lacked a little bit of, well, definition, I suppose. The lines weren't particularly straight, and there were a few other parts that needed tidying up in that respect. But like I say, for £6.50, really you can't complain. But you know, you're balancing that with the fact that it's a new tool, and new tools shouldn't really be like that. But it is what it is. I would still recommend the kit. Don't get me wrong. If you want to add a Corsair to your 1/72 collection, this would be a good place to start. Oh, the pitot tube. I'd replaced the pitot tube, talking about things that I've done to it. But that was about it. Everything else is as it was from the box. And yes, that's pretty much about it, really.